big Oscar surprise. So I opened them up,
Mm-hmm.
and Coda stole. Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I
Yeah.
was gonna say
Yeah.
was Coda, not
Yeah,
that.
I mean, let's spend a significant portion of the show discussing how good Coda was.
In Apple beating Netflix in the race for a Best Picture Oscar?
Woo-wee.
Come on, guys.
Ah,
This is $1 billion question that people are just totally evading because of other reasons.
did we tweet out the show? Did we do that?
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay, you're
ahead of
so
y'all.
responsible.
Mm-hmm.
You are so
just did.
responsible. I'm about to
Domonique-
retweet something.
Domonique,
Done.
I like how
Turn that
Domonique
music
turns 39,
Mm-hmm.
falls asleep during the Oscars, wakes up because he has to pee because his bladder has
Exactly.
shrunken
Mhm.
by
said I had
a
to pee?
year. Well, I'm just saying, connecting the dots here. You're an older man now. You have to maintain a certain level of bladder control. It's harder. Spencer, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, come
No.
on. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
No,
I'm
just-
not here to
just-
shame you.
You see this? You see this river, Pablo? I'm selling you down it. You're just there, just selling you all the way down it. Letting you go, letting it flow.
Can I
Speaking
ask?
though,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna do the thing of like segueing to speaking of bad uses of the word river.
Man,
Will Smith's acceptance speech, like he is a river of love. Did you guys watch the
Yeah.
acceptance speech?
I did.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
He
don't know. Dominic, what do
apologized. So the acceptance speech was like, you apologize to the Academy. The Academy is overjoyed because we've been talking about for the last 5 years how no one watches or cares.
Mm-hmm.
They are overjoyed. All these like Statler and Waldorf looking old white people that we imagine the Academy, they're like, yes, let those, I'm not going to use the word I was thinking, fight, because they are going to tune in for that.
I do want to say this though. When was the last time you were slapped? Because I see a lot of armchair quarterbacking going on here about how you would have reacted or what you would have done. And I will say this: if you are not out in the streets regularly taking hits to the face, there is no predicting what you'll do when you're slapped. None.
And also,
None.
like, he had his arms behind his back. He had no Chris Rock. That is, first of all, the joke wasn't even funny. If you gonna slap me, I want to get slapped and remembered for Chris Rock, my favorite comedian of all time. I want to get slapped for a fire joke. He got slapped for a joke from like 1997. When's the last time anyone mentioned G.I. Jane?
Yeah, G.I. Jane. By the way, just like Demi Moore in that, like, super hot. So just a complicated stew of like responses to why G.I. Jane is so triggering, I think.
What's wrong with you?
I'm just saying, Chris Rock, in terms of what would precipitate that kind of a response. I mean, to answer Spencer's question, actually, also here, I'll jump in. Yeah, I got slapped like an hour ago by
Did you just jump in on yourself?
I jumped in on myself.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Much like my daughter jumped me about an hour ago and slapped me in the face. Like, she's in that phase of like lightly slapping. I don't know how to respond to that either.
Yeah.
But the thing about this and all of the like discourse around it now is that there are a shocking number of people who see themselves in either aspect of the story. And I just want to be clear about how unrelatable this entire scene is. Like, yo, a super wealthy, famous Scientologist got up out of his seat and slapped the shit out of one of the greatest comedians of all time at the Academy Awards before he won Best Actor. And people are like, you know what this reminds me of? That, like, no, what
Nothing.
reminds you of anything?
It should remind you of nothing.
Spencer.
Yes.
Spencer, I'm sorry. I feel like this is going to be the entire show.
Mhm.
But
It's fine.
It should
I
be.
feel like we should not celebrate an act of violence. However, that is the coldest shit I ever seen. You stand up. You are sitting in the front row of the Oscars. You stand up, walk, open hand slap a man, go back and sit down, have Denzel Washington talk your temper down, only to receive the biggest professional accolade of your life. My God, I know that Will has to pretend like he regrets it, and I guarantee you, there are a few things I think in this world that tap into like some like primal evolutionary instincts,
Mm-hmm.
but defending your spouse is sexy as hell. So Will Smith brought that
Okay.
Oscar home, and he said, "I got your back, baby. I'll slap somebody on the biggest night of my life. It ain't about what I won. It's about me slapping a man for making a weak joke."
I got two things here. One, Denzel there is the voice of reason. I want you to consider that Training Day and the man who recently played Macbeth, the king of taking bad advice, was the man who was the voice of reason here. Two, Alabaster, I need you to see if you can find the picture of
Oh, I
Sam
know which
Jackson
one.
dapping up
Oh yeah.
Will when he comes up. Find Sam Jackson. Take a look at his face and see what
So-
he thought of this, because Sam's bringing him in like, my man. Man.
Sam Jackson sees some things, man. He's seen some things.
The environment in which this happened cannot be underestimated, because everybody is watching everyone. And in this case, every famous person, they're just watching the same thing. And so everyone's leaking photos. This is clearly like part family reunion where like Sam Jackson also has wanted to slap Chris Rock for a while and somebody finally did it. And Tyler Perry is over there being like, well, it's time for me to insert myself into this story. Allow me to jump in on myself, Tyler Perry said. And then meanwhile, you have the videos. I mean, again, like the circuit, right? Like there are cameras that the step and repeat aspect of the timeline here. There are photographers everywhere, to the point where in the after party, to Domonique's point, yeah, we get Will Smith literally rapping along to Getting Jiggy with It at a party.
My
But here's
goodness.
Look
here's
at
the
this!
gap from
Look
Sandra.
at that! Look at it! Bring it in! Sam's loving it!
That hug. Sam like, man, hey, he deserved it. I've been wanting to smack him since 88. I wanted to light him up since 88.
But there is that aspect of this too, in terms of like how everybody, again, there's all of these people who are like, you know, it's like, look, man, there's a reason why this has literally never happened before. Like, can we just bask in the absurdity of the fact that Will Smith got up to do this for the first time in American cultural history? This has not happened. And like, let's just bathe in the like, I don't know what the policy implications are here. I assume people fear like, you know, copycat slappers. You know, comedians are very much like
So,
agitated and
The
afraid.
comedians are, it's funny because it comes at a time where a lot of comedians are complaining about feeling censored. You're welcome, comedians. You are welcome. We have been saving you from catching an open hand hook, because that didn't feel like a slap. I've never seen a slap that was not like choreographed land that flush. Look at that picture. Look at that picture.
Can we get John Brenkis to analyze the sports science of this? Like just the hip, the torque.
I want you to just look at the amount of sauce applied to that hand, though, on the finish. That is a matador's finish, right? That is, the bull has passed me by. Ole.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. Outstanding work.
Like so in terms of like, well, what do we, you know, how do we talk about, all I know is that like, no, I don't want everyone who says jokes on stage to get slapped. Like, I don't want this to be like the policy from here on out. I would though, like, carve out a clause there. If you've, I don't know, like saved the world from aliens in at least 2 movies, I'm fine with you doing this. I'm fine with Will Smith having a carve out.
I got one point that is popping up is Will Smith has raised the bar for us. Like, I understood before this, I have to like stand up for my wife in certain situations. Like somebody touches her or someone says something inappropriate. I gotta puff my chest out and be like, hold on, bro. Ain't gonna be too much of that. Hey. Now look here. We ain't gonna be having that.
Dropping the register of my voice.
That was the bar before. But now I know that that's no longer the bar. I know that I gotta slap a dude for a bad joke. So if somebody says something, and that's not a world I was ready to live in. I've been walking around.
I wasn't either, man.
So both sides. Like, I've been walking around this world thinking I can make fun of people, something I thoroughly enjoy, thinking I can just take a shot at somebody. Now I know that I gotta be prepared for an open hand slap. And I also know if somebody makes a joke, like, I don't even get to go hey and wait for it to break up. I gotta go straight to the slap, or I'm gonna get called out. Like when we get home, like, well, I mean, Will Smith would have just the man getting jiggy with it would have Wild Wild West would have hooked on him.
I mean, we got to point this out too. Will Smith's got 300 mil. I'm gonna at one point have to explain to my partner, right? I'm gonna have to lean over and be like, I don't have it like that. They could take they can take Will for 100 million in damages, and he's still got 200 mil in the bank, right? Like I got $30.
He's set back down.
I can't bankroll this.
He's set back down.
I'm pretty sure none of us
stepped in.
Would be allowed to accept the Academy Award for Best Actor after this. If we had done this.
He sat back down. No one said anything or did anything. He sat back down, enjoyed the rest of the show, and then got the biggest award of his professional life. Not one security guard, no police officers. For a black man to slap somebody in front of thousands of faces and cameras, millions, and then to go sit back down and be celebrated later. I take it all back. Last night was a great achievement in Black history. The next step is for him to slap a white man and then do all that over again.
No, see,
Domonique is declaring that today is his Independence Day.
Yeah,
how many days do you think we have before the Will Smith mental health story comes out and we can no longer laugh about this?
It may have happened while we've been talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alabaster, keep an eye out, man. Keep an eye out. Don't let us cross that line.
But Spencer, like the speech itself, like the subtweet. Thank you also for revolutionizing raising the bar. And speaking of bars, by the way, we were presented by Corona. Debatable.
Oh, are we?
Shout out to Corona. Yep.
Delicious.
Big news.
It tastes better if I got a check.
Agree. A squeeze of lime.
Yeah. Squeeze a little lime in my pocket. Squeeze a little lime in my pocket.
I'd be a little more relaxed right now. Yeah.
I agree. But the subtweet, just like the whole if I were to interpret Will Smith's speech, it was like, A, sorry for being a method actor, which I didn't realize was part of his whole approach. And then B, just subtweeting Chris Rock through the guise of love and forgiveness without ever naming him. And then just, I think, to Dominique's point about when are we going to get in trouble for talking about this, a truly unhinged approach to just how he sees the world. It's all truly clinically unhinged.
Oh, goodness. I mean, it's I saw other jokes, or another joke that Chris Rock made at the Oscars about Jada, because Jada boycotted the Oscars because Will Smith wasn't getting the respect he deserved.
Yep.
Chris Rock made a joke then, actually a funny joke. And so there's a chance that there's also more to this, which is the only way outside of a mental break that I understand. If there's more history to this, that I understand him going on stage and doing what he's doing, because it's that one was a small one. I think, didn't Regina Hall make a joke earlier in the show about
open relationship stuff?
Yeah, about
there's a lot here
stuff.
To the Jada Will dynamic, as you may have realized.
A lot. There's a lot.
The Twitter too, the Twitter responses. I heard somebody tweet out that Chris should have said his face was gonna be hurt until August. If you don't get it, Google it. Outstanding.
I would just say this too, that there are a very small number of actors who could have pulled this off. If Anthony Hopkins had done this, totally acceptable. Absolutely acceptable. Although Anthony Hopkins is from the British Isles, that would have been a headbutt. I was thinking the whole time, being the unofficial fight correspondent of Debatable, what I would do in that situation. I'm like, you have to be frank about your strengths and weaknesses here. Okay. One, these hands, they're iffy. I got to admit, they're slow. They're slow and they're iffy. I'm going with the flying headbutt. That's how it starts. And to be honest, I'm slow. If that doesn't win, I'm just going to sit on you. I'm just going to sit on you and hope that your core strength doesn't get you up.
Spencer Hall, you're saying that you would go ground game on Will Smith. You're taking him to the mat. You're not allowing limbs to flail.
Wait, I will tell you this. If you have tried it at any point, and in my adventures as a really terrible amateur athlete for pay that I've done, the thing that I was least equipped for was the ground game. I did an MMA thing, and you're just not ready. It's so much stress on your body. It's so mind-bending. You panic so quickly because it's like the literal equivalent of that scene in any science fiction movie where you're like, it's in my spacesuit, right? There's this creature crawling all over you and it's got your arm and you try to get that and then it chokes you with your own arm. It's bad. That's exactly what I would do because I know that's what he's trained. Ali, he boxed, right? Yeah. He hasn't trained for this.
The question that I have coming out of this for both of you, I'll start with you, Pablo, is if you are Chris Rock, are you happy with how everything went after the slap? Because people are celebrating him as a professional and saying, great job to keep it going, whatever. But there's a whole other segment of society that is like, nah, bruh, you can't be seen as the guy who just gets open hand slapped and does not respond. I personally think, I'm not presenting how I would react because like you guys, it's been a long time since I was in a situation where that could happen to me. And I was in that frame of mind as what is Chris Rock now, 50? As a 50-year-old comedian.
Yep.
I see Will Smith walking up. I think he's going to play around like, haha, you can't mess with my wife, and we're going to have a little bit with it. Yes. He slapped him. But I like to think, or if I'm being honest, I'd rather be remembered as the guy who tackled Will Smith off of stage and threw the rest of my career away than the guy who's the consummate professional and handled it right. I'm not saying I would be that person, as lots of people out here like, I'm so tough, I'd have beat him up. Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I'd have froze like Chris Rock. But I would rather be remembered as the guy that's like, you remember Domonique Foxworth? Yeah, his career was going well until he speared Will Smith off the stage. Like that's who I would rather be.
No, that's how I end up getting hit in the head with the champagne bottle by Jessica Chastain. I don't want that. I don't want that.
That's fine. I've been through plenty of head injuries. I can endure another. What I cannot endure is a lifetime of somebody having the trump card on me. No matter who he meets, no matter where he goes, no matter what he says or does, someone's always gonna be like, remember Will Smith slapped you in your face. You ain't do nothing about that. That is baggage.
Domonique, you say that now, but then you get hit by the champagne bottle of Tammy Faye and everything.
Right.
Changes.
I don't want a melee situation involving Andrew Garfield. He's mad. Nobody respects him on screen. Right? He plays the Spider-Man nobody respects. He's got something to prove. Right. I don't want that.
Okay, so you would rather today people be saying you're the consummate professional.
So this is
good job.
My personal vantage point on like anybody yelling anything at me in life is to not engage with that person. Right? Like like the whole idea of like, wait a minute, I'm out here defending my honor now. I live in New York City. Like I'm not here trying to like litigate conflicts with people. If I'm in an Uber and a driver is saying some crazy conspiratorial thing that's offensive to me personally, I am more likely to nod than to push back. So I'm just like, nope, not here for it. But I did, insofar as I related to anything, Domonique, it's the whole like, wait a minute, Chris Rock is basically hosting the Academy Awards at this moment. He gets the shit slapped out of him, and now he has to pivot to presenting Best Documentary. And so what he did immediately after,
it's incredible.
It's incredible, and I think he was down. If you watch the All 22 on this, if you grind some tape, I think he's down to play it off because he's like, Will Smith just slapped the bleep out, right?
Oh, now you're bleeping it? Now you're bleeping it.
I don't know why.
You said it 4 times, and now
I'm
you're
inhabiting the Academy Awards producer. But Will Smith then, of course, like ruins the kayfabe, right? This is clearly what's the one, Spencer, where it's fake shoot or work? This is clearly the real.
Yeah, don't work yourself into a shoot. Don't shoot yourself into a work. Okay.
Exactly.
But,
So Will Smith is like, no, clearly this is something that I'm taking seriously. This was not planned. And at that point, Chris Rock says a great line, which is, well, that was the greatest night in like Hollywood history or like in the history of television. Great line. But then, Domonique, and I wonder if you can relate to this, it seems like the cranial damage begins to seep in. And he begins to feel his nerves in a way that make him uncomfortable because he tries to do the thing of like, and now to present the thing. He's like, and now to present documentaries. And it's like, oh no, he's dropping words. Like he's just flailing.
He corrected himself. He corrected
himself. But there was the Monday morning quarterback of this is that there was a great segue from like,
I think
and speaking of absurd things that just happened in real life, the nominees for Best Documentary are, and I feel like he's probably kicking himself just as a comedian for not nailing the dismount.
I mean, I think that the proper dismount was my face will be hurting until August. That's the proper dismount right there. Or while Will Smith, another thing I stole from Twitter, while Will Smith is yelling about keep my wife's name out your mouth, you then use those words, connect those with August, and you keep it moving. Like that is how you win the night. And then you keep it going and you tell the jokes, or you present the award. But he did neither. And still, I would give him an A on the way. Like what he did was more difficult than what I'm saying he should have done. But no one, well, Spencer has answered it. Spencer, you would have rather behave like Chris Rock did in that situation and have people today saying you got slapped, but man, what a professional. I am stating very unequivocally, I would rather end my career by tackling Will Smith and punching whatever Academy members try to step in front of me. I would rather do that than spend a day, a week, a month, a year being thought of as the man who got slapped in his face and ain't do nothing. And even if you're gonna lose, Will Smith's a big dude. Chris Rock's gonna lose. That's fine.
I want to clarify. I'm gonna take the slap because the slap ain't nothing to me. Right. Also, I'm gonna headbutt him. I'm gonna get him in a submission hold, and then I'm going to ask Sam Jackson to do the Lethal Weapon fight thing. Remember where Gary Busey and Mel Gibson are fighting at the end, and for some reason they're like, "No, cop law, let them fight." And the LAP just sits around and watches a guy kill another man. I would just sit there, submit him, and have Sam Jackson, because you know who's going to be able to control that whole crowd with a single syllable? Sam Jackson. Yeah. He'll do the thing where he says, "Let them fight." And then I'm taking him to the orchestra pit, and we're going to say hello to some fine arts majors.
Okay. See, that's different. I misunderstood you.
No, I'm going to neutralize it. I'm the bouncer. You're paying me to be a bouncer.
Only way he could do it better is if he put him in a triangle and still presented the documentary. Like, he's got him in the triangle, and he's like, and now let's present some documentaries. Oh, I mean Oscars for documentaries.
Yeah.
Tap out.
I gotta be very honest. Like, I'm not engaging in any physical stuff. None of you are surprised by this. But what I am doing is getting out the second joke I had planned and then running off stage.
But I'm asking, what would you rather? Like, would you rather be talking about how great a professional you are today, or people saying, damn, that escalated quickly?
Right. Do I want to be
Will Smith
imprisoned?
Don't play. Chris Rock don't play either.
Do I want to be imprisoned in the Hall of Memes alongside Manny Pacquiao and Nate Robinson? Do I want that? Like, that's the question I'm asking myself. And I think that this is just like, I mean, some part of me, by the way, like a weird inner child aspect of me was like kind of I found all of this weirdly endearing, because I was like, wait a minute. This is kind of what like life in the 90s used to be like, insofar as all of America's talking about the same thing again.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have monocultures before.
Hold on. Did I just realize that Chris Rock is the only person on earth that is rooting for World War III to happen? Like, something to knock him off the front page. He's like, we got to enforce a no-fly zone over Ukraine immediately. Protect them.
That's right. Oh, man. I feel like the other person rooting for us to stop talking about this story, of course, is Alabaster. So, Alabaster, how are you feeling about all of this?
I don't think he cares.
No.
Oh.
I was on mute. I was muted there, but that's exactly right. I was the metaphorical person getting slapped by my muted mic, and also
trying to play
I was afraid of getting slapped by interjecting in that. But
they didn't play Will Smith off, for the record. There was that orchestra was real scared.
Of course,
like, he was giving that speech. Not a violin was plucked.
I don't think you pluck violins, just so you know.
I don't know how orchestras work.
You get like a horse tail and you rub it across. This is what you do with violins.
Yeah, it's called culture, Pablo.
Yeah, the bow is made of horsetail, I believe.
Should we pivot to sports?
Nah, we're gonna educate Pablo on animal stuff.
If I can pivot to sports as well, because we should point out that the guy who is Will Smith's boxing trainer did get in on the economy of just like, yo, hashtag Oscars. Like, yeah, this is me. We did it.
I think Will's son said this is how we do, or something like that, Jaden.
Yep. Jaden Smith, who sells water in cardboard boxes and makes indecipherable music for people that I can relate to. Got right in on this too.
You better stop playing with that man's family. I'm going to tell Will that you said that.
Apparently. At least I'll wait till August, you know.
Well done. All right. Your turn, Alabaster. You got anything better than that? You put the picture down.
You did.
I know. I wanted you guys to vamp on it, but I also think it's time for us to talk about, you know, the Final Four and sports, and welcome our lovely sponsor Corona, who's sponsoring us to talk about sports.
Yeah.
Debatable, presented by Corona, which will lead to our first topic. What are you most excited for with the Final Four matchups?
So, Corona, first off, shout out to you.
Mm-hmm.
You took a chance on a scrappy fake television show where we debate nothing, but just spent about, 25 minutes breaking down Will Smith slapping the shit out of Chris Rock.
They're
you,
pleased.
Corona.
They're pleased.
Yeah,
they
must be thrilled with their debut. So the Final Four has been figured out. We have the teams. We have. I'll go this way in reverse, sort of like in ascending order of interest.
Mm-hmm.
Villanova, yeah. Kansas, yeah. Duke, Carolina.
Woo!
Like if we're doing blood feud talk all show today, like the fact that they have played 258 times since 1920 and have played, or 257 times since 1920, get the math right. Number 258 will also be the first time they play in the NCAA tournament. Like that is a mind-blowing stat. I thought was like, Ballsack sports genre fake when I first saw it. Like, really? That happened? But no. Yes. So what am I most excited for? I'm excited for the most hateful rivalry in college basketball to actually get to pay off in a way that it never has before.
Yeah, this is Kansas's hour, right? Kansas just gets to sit over quietly, take care of their business, face a Villanova team that's like down their top scorer, right? Just quietly.
Justin Moore just tore his ACL. Is it killing?
Yes, saving all of that emotional energy, just chilling, just over here, laying in the weeds. It's perfect for Kansas.
The game is on TBS. I was just Googling to make sure. Like, I was just thinking how CBS should be very excited about this, but they're putting this game on TBS, which doesn't make sense to me. But they should change that immediately. But that's fine. I do think that this blood feud exists under normal circumstances. It's a great game in the regular season. Like, it traditionally does the best numbers of any college basketball games because most people are like me. They don't watch college basketball but like 4 or 5 times a year. And UNC Carolina will bring you to the screen. Then you multiply that intensity by the fact that Carolina ruined Coach K's farewell game at what's it called, Cameron Indoor, and then they thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, their fans, everyone, like, that was a big thing.
No.
But Domonique, speaking of people who decided to seize the microphone for themselves, after taking something of an L, Coach K trundling out to midcourt after getting blown out by Carolina in his final home game, does the thing where it's like, wow, this guy is super unlikable, but also it feels like he's setting us up for the championship montage to follow in the documentary. And to his eternal and hellish credit, he has been coaching that montage ever since. It is ridiculous how good Duke looks right now.
Do they get the bragging rights back, right? This is their only chance. Because right now, if they beat them in the Final Four, that's better.
Yes.
And we forget about, or this becomes a speed bump in their championship quest. But if they lose, it don't matter how many championships they win going forward or they've won in the past. Carolina holds the trump card over them.
I hate this stuff, by the way. Absolutely hate this. This quote where just the goat. No, shut up, not me. No, say it, own it. I want a coach to go out and be like, yeah, top it,
right?
Top that. Take 30 years to top that.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
there's so many reasons. By the way,
John Wooden, is that the competition?
He just passed John Wooden for most Final Fours made in history. I believe Coach K has 13 now.
Finally.
He would be the oldest head coach to ever win a title if he does it.
Yeah, Wooden did that in like 8 years, right? Like, he made the Final Four 28 times in 8 years. Yeah, what took you so long, Coach K? Come on, this is the triumph of quantity over quality.
Exactly.
But now we
were
have
saying something.
No, we just have a very old man. He would be the oldest guy to win a title by 7 years if he does it, coaching a very young team. Duke entered the tournament with 24 minutes of tournament experience. I believe nobody really has gotten minutes that's older than 20 years old. The job that Coach K is doing, for all of the reasons why we should be making fun of him, it's pretty unimpeachable. And I guess the question now is, like, Domonique, you've angered some people on the internet by making this point, but like, it is kind of like, no, we're at the adults table now. Like, the Final Four is the adults table. You can have St. Peter's eating, grilled cheese sandwiches over there, but like, no, you actually want the real teams now.
I do not consider myself a college basketball fan, mainly because college basketball stinks. I consider myself someone who watches 4 or 5 college basketball games a year. And I don't want to tune in for my college basketball game and have to Google where the team is from that is on the other side. Like, I get the appeal of a Cinderella story. Like, I get it. But I stand by this opinion. Anyone who loves a Cinderella story is a selfish lover. What's the rush? What is the rush? Like, take your time. Let's build up to a nice climax at the Final Four where the big dogs are gonna eat or do whatever big dogs do. That's what I want. Like, get all these other foolish. Like, I am not here for your peacocks coming in and ruining my Final Four. So thank you, Carolina, for giving us this Final Four, but for no other reason than to get these bums out the paint. Good for them. Let's celebrate them. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that the other big-time teams, like, they didn't show up either. Chill out with your finger, Alabaster.
I know what you're going to say.
I'm going to say.
The interjection
What
card.
you going to say?
I'm going to say you were the selfish lover for prematurely stealing that question, which was our next question of what will you remember most about the St. Peter's? I'm
sorry.
I just want, man, Domonique, you say you're like a year shy of 40. No, you're already in old man territory. You're like, no boutique restaurants.
Yeah.
Stick to the chains. Don't take me to some place with fancy molecular cooking. What I want is steak. I want red meat.
The big dog does not eat aperitifs.
I don't know what aperitif is, but to be fair, I'm a good teammate because Pablo took me there, and I did not hang Pablo out to dry. Once again, generous lover.
Dog.
You're welcome.
Good looking out. Yeah, there is. Look, and so for people who are not familiar or hate college basketball for some valid reasons, right? Like Domonique is right insofar, and plenty of people have like who are like JJ Redick, like one of the greatest players in college basketball history, have commented in this way. Like, you watch the game and it's worse. No one is making the argument. What we are, I think, saying in terms of like why it's worth watching now is that the games get better when the teams are actually better.
Yeah, but Dominique's also saying, like, this sport is trash, so give me the best trash possible. And I don't know if that's the argument you want to make when we're talking.
I was trying to be a good friend in return.
No. That's
also
clearly defensible. To your point, I am at a restaurant that I don't want to be at. Give me what they are known for. Don't give me some obscure off the menu. Like, what they're known for still may not be up my alley, but it's going to be better than you give me a dish with peacock on it. Don't nobody want no peacock.
Dominique doesn't like it when the chef comes out from the kitchen. He's like, hey, this has never been served before, but how about a 15 seed in the Elite Eight? He's like, no.
No, thank you. Like, I'm with you for a close game. You can have a first round upset, even a second round upset, maybe. But when we get down to this Final Four, I want chalk. Or not even chalk. I want names on jerseys that I recognize and remember. Like Duke, Carolina. You mad about Duke, Carolina, Villanova, Kansas? Who would rather have the Peacocks? Nobody.
To be clear,
Alabaster's he's just putting up facts. There's just all of these great St. Peter's facts about their narrative. Just crapping on it. Just arguing all over the whole thing.
Use the F word. Bleep their narrative. It was fun. Also, along those lines, I tweeted this too, Pablo, in order to continue to piss off these underdog lovers. Rudy, trash. Get it out of here. I do not relate. I don't understand. There is nothing to celebrate. There is nothing. We didn't deserve to be there. It was a trash game. Get us out of there.
Rudy,
Pablo,
by the way,
Alabaster has brought up the fact that my freshman year in college, we got blown out by Florida. Florida should have been in the national championship. It wasn't our fault that somebody knocked them off. They should have been in the national championship. And I agree. I apologize to all the fans of college football in 2002 that we got smashed by Florida because we did not deserve.
Thank you, Alabama.
Actually, they did not deserve to be there. They were a national championship caliber team. Back to Rudy. Trash movie. I'm supposed to celebrate that the whole damn team. Listen. The whole team went to the coach's office and threw their jersey on his desk, said, I'm not playing if Rudy don't play. I'm not playing if Rudy doesn't dress. Rudy got dressed, ran down, and made one insignificant tackle on kickoff, and we celebrated. No, the movie's garbage. Rudy, get out of here. Go. He should have quit. Nothing's wrong with quitting. You determined that Rudy could have cured cancer if he would have devoted his time to studying medicine and not out there flopping around on a football field where he clearly did not belong.
He was off, and he was offsides. He was offside.
He was offside.
Yeah. Also, another movie that would not qualify for best documentary at the Oscars. Very fake. Like that story is so embellished, Alabaster. I presume you're injecting to agree with us on this.
That is, I am injecting to agree with you on that. If you ever get to Google Joe Montana talking about Rudy, he still has a beef with Rudy Rudiger, like 40 years later because of how that was portrayed. I will say your analogy sort of does fall apart on the whole Rudy St. Peter's thing because they made it to the Elite Eight and took down Blue Bloods along the way, and that part is awesome. I don't know how we've gotten so far away from that. That was sick that they beat all these teams and Doug caught fire.
It's arguably I like how you just call him Doug, as if you know his last name, but you just decide to go Prince with him. But anyway, the whole story of Doug, like, yeah, it might be the greatest underdog story in sports history if you believe that the NCAA tournament is the premier platform for such stories. I will also point out, Spencer, the Domonique's argument also about the names on the jersey that he knows. It's not the names on the back. He's talking about the names on the front.
Yeah, we're not even getting that specific.
Yeah, I mean, and I actually know a couple names on the back of these other teams. I can't name a soul that play for the Cox. Not one. I don't know anybody on that team. I can name a couple of these other guys. Maybe Ranchero. He's good.
That's like 85% correct in terms of what his name actually is.
I really want to go. I want to go on vacation with Domonique because I'll be like, here's a body of water, and he's like, it's not the Pacific Ocean. Show me the Pacific Ocean. It's trash water.
That's right.
It's garbage.
I mean, what we going to the Delaware beaches for? Let's just wait a little longer, take a longer flight.
Full agree there.
Let's take a longer flight and get us to a real destination, like Joshua Tree, where I just came back from.
Oh, I love Joshua Tree.
Beach is overrated.
I
love mushrooms. You don't
underrated.
like Joshua Tree.
I would. There's one thing about St. Peter's I did like. They did manage to completely bully Purdue. Purdue, who showed up just like a Big Ten team should, with a giant 300-pound, 7-foot tall guy, and they bullied them off like a Chihuahua barking at a Great Dane. Like they were bullying them in the paint. I have no idea how. So if there's one thing to remember St. Peter's for, it's scaring the crap out of a Purdue team that was like easily 3 times their size.
Yes, and look, what St. Peter's gets as their like consolation prize as they go home early from the tournament.
Sister Jean, remember Sister Jean? Oh God.
They're going to get, well, Shaheen Holloway basically is eligible for that level of sainthood basically in Jersey City right now. Like he is this mystical figure who comes out of here, this Queens accent, fearless, played in the McDonald's All-American game. He's having his old clips resurfaced when he played with like Kobe and stuff. It's great. It's all great. The bad news is that the school who became famous, also in the doing of the tournament because they have like severe budgetary problems. Like they had like stories about how teams would come over and shoot on their rim and the rim would fall off and how like the offices would flood all the time. Shaheen Holloway's about to be paid a sum of money that St. Peter's cannot possibly afford. And yeah, he's going to go be the coach at Seton Hall, his alma mater, undoubtedly at this point.
Good for him. Get that money and get away from St. Peter's. I'm sorry. Did I ruin everyone's fun?
No.
Just being a real evil stepmother in this metaphor.
Alabaster?
I do have one thing that I think is worth noting. It's a bit of an extension off of Spencer's point. Was this was not a conventional Cinderella, not just in the way that they beat Purdue, because they didn't just get like super hot from 3. They didn't play like, particularly crazy hot shooting basketball, and they were still able to knock off Blue Bloods in 3 rounds and make it this far, which is not like,
So they didn't even make shots. So they made the games that they won less fun also. They didn't play well and they still advanced. Good point. Yeah, I love this. Great job. Do they have a G League guy on their roster? Like Duke's got 5 lottery picks. I want to watch them dudes. I want to get to know them.
You're barking up the wrong tree here because I really, really love when college basketball comes down to people just throwing the ball off the backboard and fouling. That's my favorite kind of team. I want the ugliest. I want teams like Chris Hurt's old Texas Tech teams where you're like, final score 48-42. That's what I want. I want Jim Nantz out there struggling. All right? Earn your money, Jim Nantz, making this interesting. Earn it.
It is crazy. Alabaster, it is crazy. I mean, look, I want to defend college basketball on some level here. There are aspects of it that I love. People are having the greatest times of their lives.
Name an
in
aspect.
Ways that they
Name one aspect of that you love.
That's it, is that you're watching people peak. You're watching their peak. You watch St.
And
Peter's
that's sad to me. That makes me sad. Someone is peaking at 20 years old. That doesn't make me happy. That makes me very, very depressed.
Oh, I got an off-ramp I want to take here, by the way, because I have always hated this about the tourney, okay? I have enjoyed the drama. I like the randomness. These are my favorite things. I like 48-42 college basketball games, okay? Because sometimes I like having a really bad time. But the thing that I really...
They're playing with no thumbs.
Exactly. That's my kind of game, right? That's something I can relate to.
Screamo music, Spencer. Just unpleasant aesthetically, but because it's so unpleasant, you like it?
Yes. One Shining Moment is trash. It is absolute garbage. I have been on this for like 15 years. One Shining Moment is the saddest. It sounds like a man like at the end of his rope, remembering it's like from one moment you knew you were alive. What's wrong? Get medicated. Sad. Get some therapy. Life can be better than this. It is the saddest song.
It is. And Pablo is celebrating people who peak in college. It's really unfortunate. It's like, and then they play One Shining Moment for all these 6-year seniors. Like, that was it, guys. Go back home, see if they hire it at that Walmart. Like, this is a sad, sad display.
We finally land at the solution to all of these people who actually identify with One Shining Moment. It's like, go do ayahuasca or something, man. Like,
You're such a good influence.
Get something going on, right? Like they went under the Luther Vandross umbrella of beautiful sounds for far too long before people realized what a dark and sad tale One Shining Moment is, right?
Yo, Spencer, you know what? It's such a good point. Like, you know how in all these Jordan Peele movies, they do the scary remix of joyous songs? They should do a scary One Shining Moment trailer theme.
Whoa. One Shining Moment is already the scary remix of One Shining Moment.
Oh, but no, I'm saying you do the slow it down, piano, children's choir, choir singing.
Nope, I can't get any sadder. You cannot get me. Maybe it'll be sadder for you. You can't get me any sadder than after I watch it and we see some guy bleeding from the face because he got elbowed, and they're like, "This is great, One Shining Moment." Yeah, we're gonna have the cheerleaders getting balls down from the rafters this year. That was their One Shining Moment.
Yeah, that's it. Like, what was your best moment? I hit an easy layup in Charlotte as a 14 seed in my 6 year of eligibility. All right, I want you to have better moments in your life than that. I understand it's a good moment, right? Yeah. But that should not be it. That song makes me want to die.
I'm with you. And I don't know. I'm so sad now. One Shining Moment. Also, lastly, how many times has someone had a timely, like a coach, had a timely job-saving Final Four run that actually cost their team? Like, that doesn't exist in college football because, your season is it. And that's it. But in college basketball, you get 2 tournaments to save your rickety job. And I feel like it's unhealthy. It is bad for franchises or bad for organizations, institutions that are trying to build something to have a good run at this moment when you know your coach stinks.
Wow. So what you're arguing is that the whole chaos of the tournament, the random aspect of it, you're not rewarding people who deserve to. You're crapping on every aspect of this whole thing.
It's amazing. Also, please respect the hustle of a coach who's going to take 70-80% of the year just recruiting next year, being economical, and then it's smart. Now let's crack down. Now let's play the ugliest version of the sport we can play, so I can get deep into the tournament, get that bonus and extension, and then just do it all next year.
I feel like it's time well spent. You should let your assistant coach all regular season, get you in the tournament. You should be out recruiting. Just don't even go to the games. Just go out recruiting, and then you get to the tournament. Just got to win 2-3 games in a row, and you're good.
I'm pretty sure
tournament.
John Calipari tried doing literally that this season. Alabaster.
Yeah, I would actually say, Dominique, to your point, it happens more with conference tournament runs. You win your conference tournament, you get a bid, you get to keep your job. We saw that with Patrick Ewing.
Yep,
that just happened.
Right down the street from me.
Do you take that shot? Do you practice that shot?
Have you ever shot that shot? But one piece of cleanup, St. Peter's does have someone who's definitely going to get NBA looks. And Defo, their 6'7" center who had 6 blocks and had 6 blocks
led the
early in
nation
the
in blocks
tournament.
last
Switchable
season.
1 through 5. Very malleable future NBA guy.
Explain to me how he ended up there. What happened? Is there a sad story? What's going on here?
I can't say that I have gone through the recruiting
But you know there's a
rabbit hole
reason.
of how.
There's a reason.
Alabaster is calling Doug Eddard Doug, so I'm pretty sure we've reached the level of depth on the scouting report.
When did you Google his last name, Pablo?
Approximately 3 minutes ago, 1:12 p.m.
Because earlier when you called him out about the Doug, I noticed that you just kept saying Doug yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's just doing the Brazilian naming convention, right? Like Ronaldo, Eusebio, Doug.
Douginho,
Doug.
as he's known.
We'll always remember Doug. Also, just as we move on, I gotta say, I'm sure I'll get crushed for this, but I love one shining moment.
It's okay. It's okay.
Great. Just brings
That's
joy
fine.
every year.
I have the names of several qualified therapists that you can talk to.
Do you love when Jim Nance gives his tie away too?
Oh my God!
No, come on,
Dear Lord!
Be a real man.
Love crappy traditions.
No, you should do the shirt. You should do the whole thing. Drop the top. Jim Nance should do a jersey swap.
Jim Nance.
Whose idea was that? The Jim Nance tie? Do you think
I'm pretty sure it was Jim Nance's.
Oh,
do you think it was like spur of the moment, or do you think he's like, I'm gonna kill him with this one? Wait, give him my tie.
He's planned it.
He's like, as a person who has allegedly a oil painting of myself above my mantle, how should I reward these fine athletes with a piece of myself?
That's exactly it. This is, by the way, I say this, I make fun of Jim Nance because I unabashedly love Jim Nance. He baffled me at first, but now there is no human being who is 100% themselves than Jim Nance, because in his head, with 100% sincerity, he's like, I bestow a great honor upon you. My necktie. My necktie. And he believes it in his bones. He's like, sign of great respect. Whereas I'm like, I don't wear ties, Jim. This is baffling to me.
When am I going to wear this?
I want the investigative deep dive story. I want to track down all the ties. I want to know where they are.
Good.
I want to know where they
are.
Where are all the ties, and are they prominently displayed? Are they in trash cans? Do we know where they are?
Yep. Did some get repurposed into weird Halloween costumes? Did someone wear it a wedding reception?
Did somebody
is someone using it for real? Some kinky stuff? All of these things should be explored.
Whoa. Cool it there, Pablo.
Oh, now I've crossed the line.
Yeah. Between this and the G.I. Jane comments, it's been a steamy debatable for Pablo Torre.
Afternoon.
Corona.
Maybe you need to cool off with a nice ice cold Corona.
Way to go, Spencer. Well
it does sound delicious.
I would have one if they put some limes in my pocket. Till they put some limes in my pocket, I'm not so sure about it. I've heard good things.
Those Romo limes. Speaking of Nance, give me some Romo limes.
I've heard good things. I'm not going to say anything bad about it, but I can't say anything good about it. Pockets are limeless pocket.
I think for Friday, this is all going to be a beach scene. We're just going to rearrange this. There's going to be some palms.
Please.
I'll do a beach scene, but I want money coming from my palm trees. That's what I would like.
All right, guys, you ready for
coconuts wrapped in cash? No, I'm not done. That's
just seriously, we need the sponsorship.
I would like shredded money as the sand on my beach on a beach towel of Benjamin Franklin's face with coconuts. But instead of palms, I want big bills out there. Okay.
With an ocean of his liking. One of the real ones, not one of the fake ones.
How about we can go with Scrooge McDuck? Like the coin pool that he had. I want a coin ocean. Pacific Ocean, please.
Yep.
All right, we're done.
I'll take a.
We're gonna do a couple. We're gonna do a couple if-thens to close out the show. The first one.
Oh, if Corona put some limes in my pocket.
If Domonique stops talking, that would be good for everyone and the show.
Oh gosh.
Love you, Corona, in a very unironic way.
This is my last show. Clearly, guys, it's been fun.
If the Hornets beat out the Nets for the 8th seed, then blank.
If the Hornets beat out the Nets for the 8th seed, then we should probably reevaluate the whole Kyrie Irving was right all along theory of how this season has gone. Like, I love how we just flipped on that. It's like, well, he waited out everybody. He had a point, and then his first home game comes, and they play the Hornets at Barclays, and he goes 6 for 22. 1 of 9 from 3. Real college basketball style shooting from Kyrie Irving in his momentous homecoming.
Not fair.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, he's not accustomed to that arena. He doesn't know the depth of field. He just needs some time to get accustomed to the arena. So I think they'll be fine. I mean, they're gonna win their play-in situation, presumably. In the NBA, the talent is what you bank on. They got 2 guys that can create their shot. That's what it comes down to. Like in a series, at some point, everyone's figured out all your little plays and your motions and your packages. At the end of the game, it's either 1-4, like ISO, or pick and roll. They got 2 guys that can do that every time down the floor. And no matter how bad their defense is, their offense makes your defense worse than their defense. You get what I'm saying?
I think there's just another dub for Charlotte over Brooklyn in the eternal war of Charlotte over Brooklyn.
Nice.
That's what it is. I'm sorry, does Brooklyn have a Dale Earnhardt Jr. themed bar at one point in its history? No.
Nope.
No.
Not
Sorry,
one.
this is two. That's at least 2-0. 2-0 Charlotte.
Brooklyn
Charlotte,
just has people.
Four Seasons in Charlotte got a great pool. Indoor pool is pretty nice.
Amazing.
Wow. All Brooklyn has is people accidentally cosplaying as Dale Earnhardt Jr.
That is true. It's a lot of guys who
Like,
don't know that.
I guess
they're
we are
dressed
paying
like...
tribute to the greatest of all time, I suppose. Yeah, Alabaster. I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you think? Because my whole thing about this is that the Nets better win that play-in game. Like, it's what, again, we just talked about the randomness of the NCAA tournament. Like, I assume that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving will impose their will on whoever they face in that game. But like, if they don't win, you know how many more things we're gonna have to figure out to talk about?
Oh, yeah,
like, if the Nets get out of this, we got to talk about like the Cavs and the Hornets and the Hawks. That's horrifying.
That is.
Excuse me. The Atlanta Hawks
Sir.
are a fine option.
37-37. You know, what's not to like?
Man, what's wrong with being? That's a perfectly balanced squad right there.
LaMelo Ball is another score in the column of the sibling theory, the younger sibling theory, which is, speaking of the Oscars, Serena Williams, younger sibling. The younger ones, I'm a younger sibling. Like, all the greats.
I'm a younger sibling.
All the greats, the sports greats at least, are younger siblings. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but it's interesting to me.
I like how you went to the younger sibling theory as opposed to where I thought you were going to go, which is that LaMelo Ball playing in college was clearly a waste of time. No one needs to play college basketball at all. Go to like Australia and Lithuania with a coach who sells meat out of his trunk. And you don't even need to do the NCAA tournament thing to be the most exciting young player in basketball.
Hey, I want a coach who understands hustle. And if that coach is selling meat out of the back of their trunk, they get it.
I mean, you can learn a lot more over there than you could from the Peacocks. I'm good on them.
All right, guys, we got one more, and that is, if Nathaniel Hackett lets Russ cook more, then blank.
Then Nathaniel Hackett does not subscribe to the offense that got him this job. Like, the whole point of this offense is not to let your quarterback cook. I think that if Nathaniel Hackett lets Russ cook more, then they won't be as good as they could potentially be. That's really cold take, but that's the take.
Domonique, are you saying that at this point Russell Wilson has been so like cornered into being the saving third down QB, right? Because that's it. Like first and second downs, Russell Wilson barely exists for the past decade, right? Like, that's just captain handoff. We're going to run the ball, and then on third down, Russell Wilson does something amazing. And by the way, this is a continuation across his whole career because remember, he played at NC State in a very conservative offense where he was, again, asked to do all kinds of wild stuff on third down. Same at Wisconsin. He's never actually had to be the guy who establishes the tempo for the whole offense. He's kind of a like all-time great junk baller on third down, if that makes any sense. So I don't honestly, like, it does seem valid to me. Will he be super comfortable in an entirely new role that he hasn't seen for like 15 years?
Wow. Alabaster, can you put down the blank space card because I want to get the wording right here. Because if Nathaniel Hackett does not let Russell Wilson cook, then Alabaster clearly is checked out, guys.
Yeah, he's done. He
I
retired.
mean, he's not
on us.
even
He's
listening
having
to
a rough
us. I
day.
asked for a card. He's not
Put
putting it
down
down at
the
all.
original card, the if-then card. You can do it.
Thank you.
There
If
it
Nathaniel
is.
Hackett lets Russ cook more, then blank. I was going to come up with the construction for the joke I'm about to make. I'm just going to abandon that construction entirely now that I see how it was
It's
worded.
Alabaster's fault.
It's his fault. But I feel like among athletes who are on the board for people who might pull a Will Smith in the future, Russell Wilson has to be getting odds in Vegas. He has the wife. There are the jokes. He's clearly feeling midlife crisis-y about everything. He left his old team, trying to do a new thing. He's rebranding. He's on social media all the time. I feel like it's not out of the question that Russell Wilson rushes the stage at the ESPYs and slaps someone in the face.
I mean, I guess there's no one who is believed to be nicer. Like yesterday, if I would have said to you, yesterday morning, I would have said to you, if I would have said to you, my friend, he acts just like Will Smith. What would you have thought I was telling you my friend does? Like, you would have thought he was an affable, really funny, like maybe kind of athletic, handsome guy who's fun to be around. Now today, I say, my friend, he be acting like Will Smith. You, when you met this friend, you be very careful what you said about that guy. So there is no better rebrand if that's what you're going for. Like, has Will Smith stopped getting action movies? Is that what the problem is? He got cast as an old man.
Wait, Will Smith is angling to be cast as the next gritty Batman?
It's going to be so interesting, his next role. Like, his next major role. It's going to be trafficking on the newfound perception. Bad Boys 4 coming out.
I think with Russ, he's not somebody who I think handles anger particularly well, because he's definitely one of those people who I know on Instagram is like, I don't deal with negative energy. Lies! We all deal with negative energy. No, I just let that go. No, you don't. You're just grinning through it. You're going to slap the hell out of somebody one day. That's what's going to happen, right?
Okay. Look, thank you for that warning. I'm done making not that I ever made any jokes about you, Russ. Never going to do it again.
Not a one. You know what he could use to relax? That's right. The gorgeous taste of an ice cold Corona.
Delicious. Refreshing.
The I don't know taste. I don't know. Never had one. Not yet.
No? Oh.
Not yet. I'll have one, if you know what I'm saying, when y'all put a lime in that thing.
We're finding
audience. Domonique Foxworth is winking, and Alabaster is weeping into his hands.
We're finding out who'll work for beer. That's what we're finding out. Neither of you will. One of us will. One of us is strong enough to just work for beer, like a real American.
You're the best. I never want to do the show again unless it's with Pablo, Spencer, and Corona.
Yeah. Shout out to Corona. I was gonna say like the king of, but that's not their slogan.
No, stop it! You're messing it up.
There's a crown
it's like,
there. I'm like,
that is a crown, but that's
Corona
not. That's another
slogans.
slogan.
Corona slogans.
I
gotta say the Google search on Corona slogans is really now messed up over the last.
No, don't say it. We're done. Get us out of here, please.
We have one bonus topic before you get you out of here, and that is from Long Live the Queen.
The finest beer.
This meme of Domonique as Will Smith and St. Peter, Sister Jean, One Shining Moment, Rudy, and Alabaster.
No, not Alabaster.
Yes,
I love Alabaster. And also, it's Domonique and Spencer. He agreed with me on everything. Just
That's
so
correct.
You know.
That is correct.
So we are together.
And I'm Denzel. Can I be Denzel?
Yeah,
Telling us about the devil?
Yeah, that's right. The devil comes for you at your highest moments, guys. But you know what's great?
When
the devil comes for
true,
you,
though.
A Corona.
That's right. You know what? I didn't mention this. I can't wait to see Russell Wilson in Denver, because Denver's full of like some really uptight people who are like fake polite, right? Like it's one of those places like, have a nice day.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah, that's good. There's gonna be a lot of people like that in Russ's life.
I mean,
Russ getting microaggressed into.
I'm not negative about anything. But if you park there again, I'm calling the cops.
I've had some pretty high moments. Never saw the devil. Never had any moments that low, but my guess is that's when the devil shows up, right? Don't the devil pop around in your low moments?
I mean, if the devil shows up, you're like, I did it. This is as good as it gets. What's up?
I feel like as soon as the devil shows up, low moment. That's all I'm saying.
It's Corona time, baby.
Shining.
Oh
the
my
devil
gosh.
is the one who sings one shining moment.
I knew it.